Ladies and gentlemen, let me start with a powerful truth. Your hormones control everything from your energy, mood, sleep, weight, even your confidence. Hormones are the silent drivers of your life. Yet, every single day, without even realizing it, millions of people are poisoning these vital chemical messengers with the very foods they eat. Refined sugar is one of the most silent yet powerful disruptors of hormonal health, and its effects go far beyond weight gain or cavities. When you consume foods or drinks loaded with refined sugar, your body responds with a sharp spike in blood glucose levels. In order to manage this surge, pancreas releases insulin, the hormone responsible for carrying glucose into your cells for energy. At first, this may not sound harmful, but when sugar intake becomes a regular part of your diet, your body is forced into a constant cycle of insulin spikes and crashes. Over time, your cells stop responding efficiently to insulin, a condition known as insulin resistance, which paves the way for type 2 diabetes, stubborn fat storage, a cascade of metabolic problems. This imbalance doesn't just affect blood sugar. It sets off a chain reaction that destabilizes nearly every major hormone in your system. High insulin levels interfere with cortisol, the stress hormone, can leave you feeling tired, anxious, or wired at the wrong times of day. Cortisol imbalances are directly linked to poor sleep, low energy, difficulty concentrating, all of which affect your productivity and emotional well-being. Beyond cortisol, refined sugar also disturbs sex hormones like testosterone and estrogen. In men, chronically high sugar intake is linked to reduced testosterone levels, which leads to low energy, decreased muscle mass, and lowered libido. In women, excess sugar can worsen conditions like polycystic ovary syndrome, disorder heavily influenced by insulin resistance and hormonal imbalance. The overproduction of insulin stimulates the ovaries to release more testosterone, throwing estrogen and progesterone out of balance, which results in irregular menstrual cycles, mood swings, and fertility challenges. Even thyroid function is not immune, as the inflammation caused by sugar can impair how effectively the thyroid gland produces hormones, leading to slowed metabolism and persistent fatigue. Sugar's effect on the liver is another overlooked danger. The liver processes refined sugar, especially fructose. When it becomes overloaded, it begins converting the excess into fat. This contributes to fatty liver disease, which further interferes with the liver's ability to regulate and metabolize hormones properly. Since the liver plays a critical role in detoxifying hormones like estrogen, an overworked or fatty liver results in estrogen dominance, condition associated with weight gain around the hips, mood issues, and increased risk of certain cancers. The gut microbiome is also harmed by sugar, as harmful bacteria and yeast thrive on it, crowding out beneficial microbes. Because gut health is closely tied to hormone signaling and production, this imbalance in the gut environment creates even more chaos within your hormonal system. Perhaps the most dangerous aspect of refined sugar is how addictive it becomes. Lights up the brain's reward pathways in the same way as drugs like nicotine or alcohol, making it incredibly difficult to cut back once it becomes a habit. This addictive quality ensures that people often consume far more sugar than they realize, not just in sweets, but also in hidden sources like bread, sauces, cereals, drinks labeled as healthy. The more you consume, the deeper the damage to your hormones, creating a vicious cycle of cravings, crashes, chronic imbalance that robs you of energy, clarity, and vitality. Processed vegetable oils are among the most deceptive ingredients in the modern diet, often marketed as heart, healthy, and safe, while quietly undermining hormonal balance. Oils such as soybean, corn, canola, sunflower, safflower are staples in packaged foods, fast food, and even home cooking, yet their effects on the body are far from harmless. These oils are highly processed through methods involving chemical solvents, bleaching, and deodorizing, which strip away natural nutrients and introduce toxic byproducts. Their high content of omega-6 fatty acids, particularly linoleic acid, creates a dangerous imbalance when consumed in excess. While omega-6 fatty acids are essential in small amounts, the modern diet has tilted the ratio between omega-6 and omega-3 fats so heavily toward omega-6 that it drives chronic inflammation, a key enemy of hormonal health. Inflammation acts like a constant internal fire, disrupting the delicate communication between hormones and the receptors they bind to, ultimately disturbing functions like metabolism, energy regulation, and reproductive health. One of the most concerning consequences of consuming processed oils is the impact on testosterone and estrogen. Testosterone levels, especially in men, are highly sensitive to inflammation and oxidative stress caused by these oils. Over time, this reduces not only physical energy and muscle strength, but also mental clarity, mood stability, and sexual health. In women, disruption of estrogen balance by inflammatory oils can intensify symptoms of premenstrual syndrome, contribute to irregular menstrual cycles, increase the risk of conditions like endometriosis or estrogen dominance. Since hormones are chemical messengers that rely on precise signaling, the damage caused by inflammatory oils makes it harder for the body to maintain balance across multiple systems. Processed oils also affect the thyroid, the gland that regulates metabolism, energy production, and temperature control. Chronic inflammation caused by these oils places stress on the thyroid gland and interferes with how thyroid hormones are produced and converted into their active forms. Sluggish thyroid often manifests as unexplained weight gain, fatigue, and difficulty concentrating, complicating matters further. These oils are often stored and heated in ways that create harmful compounds such as trans fats and lipid peroxides. When consumed, these toxic molecules integrate into cell membranes, weakening their structure and reducing the sensitivity of hormone receptors. This means even if your body produces enough hormones, your cells may not respond properly, leaving you with symptoms of imbalance despite normal blood test results. Another overlooked effect of processed oils is how they burden the liver. The liver plays a vital role in detoxifying the body and metabolizing hormones, particularly estrogen. A diet high in processed oils contributes to fatty liver disease and impairs the liver's ability to break down and regulate hormones. This results in circulating hormones lingering longer in the body than they should, creating imbalances that ripple through the entire endocrine system. Beyond the liver, the gut microbiome is also affected as these oils promote the growth of harmful bacteria and suppress beneficial microbes. Since gut health is deeply linked with hormone regulation, this imbalance worsens the disruption caused by inflammatory fats. What makes processed vegetable oils particularly dangerous is how easily they infiltrate daily life. From fried foods at restaurants to salad dressings and chips at the grocery store, these oils are hidden in almost everything. Their low cost and long shelf life make them attractive to food manufacturers, but their true cost is paid in the form of hormonal disruption, chronic inflammation, long-term health consequences that slowly erode vitality. Artificial sweeteners are often seen as the healthier alternative to sugar, but in reality, they can be just as damaging, especially when it comes to hormonal health. Substances like aspartame sucralose, saccharin, acesulfame potassium are added to countless products marketed as sugar-free or diet-friendly. People consume them in sodas, protein powders, yogurts, energy drinks, and even chewing gum, believing they are avoiding the pitfalls of sugar. While they may reduce calorie intake on the surface, the hidden effects of these sweeteners on the body's hormones tell a very different story. Instead of supporting balance, they often confuse the body, creating metabolic chaos that disrupts the very systems they are supposed to protect. One of the most significant ways artificial sweeteners harm hormones is by interfering with insulin response. The body is conditioned to associate sweetness with sugar intake, so when an artificial sweetener is consumed, the brain signals the pancreas to prepare for glucose absorption. However, because no actual sugar arrives, the system becomes confused. Over time, this repeated false signaling can impair the body's ability to regulate blood sugar efficiently, leading to insulin resistance. Insulin resistance is at the root of many health problems, including obesity, type 2 diabetes, and hormonal imbalance. Beyond insulin, artificial sweeteners also affect appetite-regulating hormones such as leptin and ghrelin. These hormones play crucial roles in controlling hunger and satiety. Consuming artificial sweeteners disrupts their natural rhythm, often leading to increased cravings and overeating, which ironically results in the weight gain people are trying to avoid. Another critical area of concern is the gut microbiome. Artificial sweeteners alter the delicate balance of gut bacteria by promoting harmful strains while reducing the diversity of beneficial microbes. Since the gut plays an essential role in hormone production and signaling, including serotonin, dopamine, and even estrogen metabolism, disturbing this ecosystem has far-reaching consequences. A disrupted microbiome can lead to mood swings, digestive issues, reduced nutrient absorption, weakened immune function, all of which tie back into hormonal health. When the gut loses its balance, the hormonal system follows, amplifying stress and fatigue while weakening the body's resilience. Artificial sweeteners can also have an indirect effect on stress hormones like cortisol. The metabolic confusion and cravings triggered by these substances place extra strain on the adrenal glands. Chronic stress and elevated cortisol levels interfere with sleep, energy, and reproductive hormone production. For women, this imbalance can contribute to irregular cycles and heightened symptoms of PMS or menopause. For men, it can lower testosterone, reducing vitality, libido, strength. Even thyroid function can be impacted as stress and metabolic dysfunction affect how thyroid hormones are converted into their active forms. The most troubling aspect of artificial sweeteners is how deeply they are woven into modern life under the illusion of being harmless. They are promoted as tools for weight loss and diabetes management, yet research continues to show their link to weight gain, poor glucose control, long-term health complications. By confusing the body's natural hormonal signals, artificial sweeteners set the stage for imbalance, making it harder for individuals to maintain steady energy, a healthy metabolism, and emotional stability. Instead of solving the problems caused by sugar, create a new set of issues that can silently disrupt hormonal health for years to come. Refined carbohydrates are among the most common yet underestimated threats to hormonal health, silently disrupting the body's delicate balance day after day. Found in white bread, pasta, pastries, crackers, breakfast cereals, and countless packaged snacks, these foods are stripped of fiber, vitamins, minerals during processing, leaving behind rapidly digestible starches that act much like sugar in the body. The moment you eat them, are broken down into glucose, causing blood sugar levels to spike. In response, pancreas floods the bloodstream with insulin to move the glucose into cells for energy or storage. While this may sound normal, problem arises when refined carbs are eaten regularly, forcing the body into repeated cycles of blood sugar spikes, followed by crashes. Over time, this places immense strain on insulin signaling, leading to insulin resistance, a key driver of type 2 diabetes, obesity, and hormonal dysfunction. The effects do not stop with insulin. When blood sugar levels swing up and down, cortisol, the body's main stress hormone, is also affected. Cortisol is designed to help stabilize blood sugar during periods of stress or fasting, but constant fluctuations caused by refined carbs push the adrenal glands into overdrive. Elevated cortisol levels lead to chronic stress on the body, resulting in fatigue, anxiety, disrupted sleep, and even suppressed immunity. Cortisol imbalance also interferes with reproductive hormones, lowering testosterone in men and contributing to irregular estrogen and progesterone patterns in women. This hormonal chaos manifests as mood swings, low energy, weight gain around the belly, and in some cases, fertility issues. Refined carbohydrates also affect thyroid function. The thyroid, responsible for regulating metabolism and energy, is highly sensitive to blood sugar imbalances. Frequent insulin spikes and inflammatory responses triggered by refined carbs impair how thyroid hormones are produced and converted into their active form. As a result, people may experience symptoms like sluggishness, weight gain, hair thinning, or a persistent feeling of being drained despite adequate rest. This subtle decline in thyroid efficiency is often overlooked, yet it plays a major role in long-term hormonal health. Another problem with refined carbs is how they influence hunger and satiety hormones such as leptin and ghrelin. Leptin signals fullness, while ghrelin stimulates appetite. Eating refined carbs, especially without protein or fiber, leads to rapid blood sugar crashes that increase ghrelin, leaving you hungrier soon after a meal. At the same time, overexposure to insulin disrupts leptin signaling, making it harder for the brain to register when the body has had enough food. This combination creates an endless cycle of cravings and overeating, which not only drives weight gain, but also worsens hormonal imbalance. Compounding the issue, refined carbs promote inflammation throughout the body. Inflammatory molecules interfere with hormone receptors, making it more difficult for hormones to bind and deliver their messages effectively. Even if the body produces adequate levels of hormones, the cells cannot respond properly, a state often referred to as hormonal resistance. This means fatigue, brain fog, and mood instability persist even when medical tests appear normal. Ultimately, refined carbohydrates don't just rob the body of essential nutrients, they create a storm of metabolic stress that disrupts nearly every hormonal pathway, making it harder to maintain balance, vitality, and overall well-being. Packaged and processed foods have become a staple in modern diets, offering convenience and long shelf life. But beneath the attractive labels and quick preparation lies a hidden danger to hormonal health. These foods are engineered for taste, preservation, marketing rather than nourishment, and as a result, they are often loaded with preservatives, artificial flavors, colorings, unhealthy fats, refined sugars, excessive sodium. The liver, which is the body's central hub for detoxifying and metabolizing hormones, bears the greatest burden when these foods are consumed regularly. Constant influx of chemicals and additives forces the liver to prioritize breaking down toxins over properly processing hormones, leading to sluggish detoxification and hormonal imbalances. When the liver becomes overworked, estrogen in particular can accumulate in the body, creating a state of estrogen dominance that contributes to weight gain, bloating, mood swings, irregular cycles, and in the long run, even an increased risk of hormone-related conditions. The refined sugars and simple starches hidden in packaged foods worsen the situation by spiking insulin levels, pushing the body into repeated cycles of highs and lows. These fluctuations not only strain the pancreas, but also disrupt cortisol regulation. Cortisol, the stress hormone, becomes overactive as the body struggles to stabilize blood sugar, creating fatigue, anxiety, and sleep problems. Over time, relationship between insulin and cortisol dysfunction spills over into other hormonal systems, lowering testosterone in men and affecting progesterone balance in women. This results in a ripple effect of issues from loss of energy and low libido to mood disorders and difficulty losing weight. Another silent threat comes from the unhealthy fats commonly found in processed foods, especially hydrogenated oils and trans fats. These fats embed themselves into cell membranes, weakening their ability to respond to hormonal signals. Hormones rely on receptors on the cell surface to carry out their functions, and when the cell membranes are compromised, the signals are muted or lost altogether. Even if the body produces enough hormones, cells may not respond properly, leaving a person with the symptoms of imbalance despite normal hormone levels on lab tests. This phenomenon is particularly harmful to thyroid function. Thyroid hormones struggle to activate metabolism efficiently when cell receptor sensitivity is diminished. Packaged foods are also often devoid of fiber, which plays a critical role in hormone regulation. Fiber helps regulate blood sugar and aids in the elimination of excess hormones like estrogen through digestion. Without it, hormones recirculate in the body rather than being cleared out, leading to further imbalance. Additives like artificial sweeteners, preservatives, flavor enhancers further damage the gut microbiome, reducing the population of beneficial bacteria. Since the gut communicates directly with the brain and plays a role in producing and regulating hormones like serotonin, disruptions in gut health lead to mood swings, cravings, and even impaired cognitive function. The hidden danger is that many of these processed foods are marketed as healthy, such as low-fat snacks, breakfast bars, or diet meals. Yet these options often contain the very additives, hidden sugars, and inflammatory oils that undermine hormonal health. With repeated consumption, the body is left in a constant state of stress and imbalance where energy levels dip, mood becomes unstable. Long-term risks like metabolic syndrome, infertility, and hormonal disorders become more likely. What seems like a convenient solution for hunger ends up being one of the most damaging contributors to hormonal dysfunction, slowly draining vitality and disrupting the very systems that keep the body in balance.